The Wrecking Crew with Dean Martin as Donald Hamilton's Matt Helm. First, let's talk about The Wrecking Crew.
Yes.
Where they did 4 Wrecking Crew movies. This is the last one.
Yes.
Directed by the great Phil Karlson. Yeah, it's a bizarre choice, frankly.
Yes.
But I think it was just like, you know, he did a lot of assignments, and I think this was definitely an assignment for him. I mean, it's one of the things that's actually kind of interesting about a lot of these, those guys that worked, studio directors that worked for, in the 50s and in the 60s, doing their genre movies, is they kind of just did assignments that came along, and they had to do a bunch of different things. Now, Phil Karlson is like one of my favorite of the directors that I call the, you know, there's that one group of directors at Andrew Sarris in American Film, Expressive Esoterica.
Yes.
Which is, it's kind of like the cool kids section of the book. They do all like the cool genre movies, and you know, they're not the Pantheon, they're not the second wave of the Pantheon, but you know, they're the cool kids, all right? They did good stuff. So he definitely, like Andre de Toth and Sam Fuller and Don Siegel, he definitely sits in that group. But, you know, I don't think Karlson chose this, but he did what the bosses wanted.
It
was really weird with Dean Martin. It's really weird with Dean Martin.
Yeah.
The Matt Helm movies, again, like I loved them when I was a kid. I saw The Ambushers at the theaters when I was a kid, and the year this came out, I saw The Wrecking Crew. Now there's a lot of 60s stuff now that when I watch it that I just can't get into.
Right.
It's too silly. The Matt Helm movies are like that. All right, you know, just like the stuff that's just too ridiculous to take seriously. But then why am I showing The Wrecking Crew? I chose it. I'm showing it because of Sharon Tate. I think it's her best performance, frankly. I think it's her best performance. Well, actually, the whole cast of this movie is pretty terrific. Actually, Dean is actually funnier in this than I think he is in the other ones. The movie knows not to take its plot that seriously, which the other ones didn't take it seriously, but they didn't know not to. This one kind of knows what it's doing by this time. And it's got a good double team in the case of Dean Martin and Sharon Tate. They're very, very funny together, with her having the comedic part of the klutz, and him kind of being the exasperated straight man to her. But also, it's got a great group of 60s it actresses. Elka Summer, Nancy Kwan. I see any Nancy Kwan movie from the 60s, or the 70s for that matter. Even when she started doing exploitation movies, I like everything Nancy Kwan did. And Tina Louise, who I've always been a big fan of as well. But this is Sharon Tate's movie. Well, she deserves it. She is the movie.
Yes.
I mean, if you ask me, she is the movie. She's just, her character, Miss Karlson, Frida Karlson, is very, very funny. And she has a responsibility in this performance that I don't think she quite had in the other movies. She has to be funny. She actually she's the comic relief. She has to deliver the gags. Yes. I saw it at the Garfield Theater, and yeah, I saw The Wrecking Crew. I'd already seen The Ambushers, but the thing about the Wrecking Crew is I thought it was a very funny movie, and I knew who Dean Martin was from television and from the Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis movies. But I swear to gosh, I loved this movie when I was 6 because I loved Sharon Tate in the film. And I mean, in particular, her character of Frida Karlson. I thought she was so funny. And I just, you know, I love slapstick comedy. I love people falling and people dangling from things, dangling from flagpoles and all that kind of physical comedy stuff I loved. And I'm not going to say it's like, I mean, I'd seen, I think, Lucille Ball by that point on television. So I'm not going to say that it's like the first time I saw a woman do you know, a tremendous amount of physical comedy, but it's one of the first times I saw, especially a woman as beautiful as her, and especially in a 60s movie, which was a movie of then, as opposed to a black and white 40s film. Yeah, they're all just blatantly sexy, and they all have their own little theme song.
Yeah.
Well, she has her theme song. She has a good theme song. The one that, when she walks away after the.
Yes.
Ba, 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 ba. And I think it's I actually think the name of this, because we used a little bit of it, but I saw the credit for it. Hugo Montenegro wrote it, and I actually think the name of that piece of music is Frida Can Bang.
Really?
Yeah. Which is what you would think it would be named. But the thing about it was, again, as I was saying before in an earlier episode that we did, I was also taking my cues off of the adults in the audience, and they were all laughing at her. And I thought she was funny, and I thought she was charming, so I was laughing with her. And we will not spoil the last gag in the film, but you've got it coming up. But the last gag that she does, it brought the house down. I mean, it brought the entire house down. I couldn't believe how funny it was. I was laughing hysterically. The whole audience roared in unison, and everyone walked out of the theater laughing, which is like, you know, the epitome of a great time at the movies. But and this sounds like because I made a movie with Sharon Tate, about Sharon Tate, that I'm fudging this. I'm not. I liked Frida Karlsson's character so much that when the movie was over at the Garfield, I went outside, and actually the outside of the Garfield was not too dissimilar from the outside of the Bruin that's in my movie, with like the little patio area with the posters up and the box office box. And so I actually went to the poster and looked at the poster, and I asked my mom, which one is Miss Karlsson? And she said, that one. Sharon Tate? That one, yes. And so that's how I learned who Sharon Tate was, is because I was charmed. I didn't quite fall in love the way I did with Goldie Hawn, but I was pretty charmed and was all set to watch as many Sharon Tate movies as I could, because I just thought she was so and like I said, that last gag just killed it. We're not giving it away. We're not giving it away, but the last gag kills it. Yeah, not only that, apparently not only did Dean Martin love working with her, apparently at the premiere, you know, when he's like talking to the reporters, he goes, "Oh, we love Tatey in this movie. She's just terrific. We want to do another one." And the movie even announces another one at the end, which was never made. And she was going to be in that one too. She was going to be his new sidekick, and never happened. I think it's probably, you know, she might be the reason it never happened. It was like they didn't really have the heart to do another one. After she died. I can understand that.
Yeah.
My favorite moment of Sharon's, actually, of her whole career, is in this movie. And it's a little bit, it's no lines, actually. It's just a piece of business she does. So they're trying to sneak into the big bad guy, Nigel Green's estate. And she falls into like a dirty mud puddle. It's not mud, it's just dirty water. It's like a big water puddle, brown water. And she goes face first into it. And Dean Martin rolls his eyes and has got to put up with her getting ready. And so she gets out, and she's got her like powder blue, looks like a stewardess outfit, you know, for like a really groovy airline. I want to fly that plane, by the way. She falls in the water, and then she gets out, and you know, she's got this dirty water on her, but it's not muddy, so she's fine. And she just kind of demurely puts herself together. With the water dripping off her, she kind of fixes her hair and gets everything together, and she's kind of nonplussed about her own clumsiness, and she's kind of nonplussed that she just fell in dirty water, and it's just the way she kind of smilingly fixes her hair and you know, gets herself ready to go, and then like again, she puts on this beautiful smile that makes it's all okay, and it's just this one. I think it's just this moment of Sharon Tate that I can't get enough of it. It's just watching her in that sequence, in character, kind of present herself. I just think it's just really lovely. You're right. No, and especially this is like, you know, this is the time of 60s television where like, you know, actors and actresses, you know, bug their eyes and really push, you know, double takes and spit takes, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that was just the way you did comedy on television. You made a good point. It's the thing that suggests that she's not, you know, she's not a natural born comedy actress, but when given the chance to play this kind of funny character, she jumped in it with both feet, but still attacked it from the right kind of way of trying to make the character, you know, in as crazy a world as this movie exists in, as honest as possible. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. For all of our making fun of the Mad Hell movies, I hope you enjoyed The Wrecking Crew and really enjoyed Sharon Tate.
Why don't we call it a little bit of hanky-panky?